Hey, welcome in everyone to another edition of Huskers Live. Actually, the second one this week. How about that? Huskers Live, right here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate everybody being here. And as always, we are brought to you by Gene Arthur Associates. Get on over to Gene Arthur Associates. You can find the link in the description section of any of the videos. And again, we've got another big ticket giveaway to tell you about with the Wisconsin game coming up on Saturday, and also enter for the one in Iowa City against the Hawkeyes, the final day of the season. And of course, we got Greg Peterson from Husker Online right here. Greg, how we doing tonight?
Cold.
I know, I'm cold too. I just had to run out for a few minutes and it's just cold.
We were, after the Tuesday weekly press conference today, we always go out and do our stand-ups out on the field. And it was nasty. And the snow flurries coming down, and it was not pleasant at all to be there. It warmed up a little bit since then, but not much. But yeah, I don't do well in the cold anymore.
I took a walk last Friday, and the only reason I did was I knew that we were getting hammered this weekend. And then once the warm weather was gone, it was gone for good. And we're not going to see it until like a little spurt in March or whatever, but really until April or May. And I went outside just to take a walk because it was 74 last Friday. And by sunset, it was still like 68 degrees. So I'm taking a walk and I'm just thinking, this is going to be the last time I'm going to enjoy being outside for a long time. And I was on the phone with my daughter just saying, yeah, this is the last time because I go from, like a lot of people, where I can't be outside enough when it's nice out. Yep. Like I hate that I got to be sitting here doing things. Not that this is the worst job in the world. I'm not complaining, folks. But, I see it's beautiful outside and I do everything possible to kind of move work and move things away to get out in the sunshine. But then it clicks and it flips. And I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like, I don't want to be outside. It's cold.
No, me too. Me too.
It looked like it was cold at the big house on Saturday. There was sleet coming down and it was practically going sideways and a lot of wind and just nasty. And you talk about it's one thing to have to sit through that as a fan, and then your team wins and it pays off, or it's at least a really, really good game. But to sit through that misery with weather and to watch that offense, is it as simple as Casey Thompson's not there and they can't score when he's not, they can't move the ball?
Well, first off, from the people that were actually there, from at least my coworkers and stuff, didn't think it was all that cold.
Oh, okay.
It looked colder. It looked colder than it was on TV.
Okay.
But I mean, Nebraska they were doing okay, with Chubba Purdy. He was okay for a while until he got hurt. And yeah, it basically is, Mark. I mean, they have scored one touchdown since Casey Thompson went out. So, yeah, that's an obvious sign right there that the offense is struggling. And then, and then Chubba Purdy gets hurt, and he's done for the year with a high ankle sprain that he's going to get surgery on. So, Logan Smothers is next up. Casey Thompson did practice today. Mickey Joseph told us, and he did throw some. He went through the offensive, the team offense, and shared snaps with Chubba Purdy. So yeah, the offense has really, really struggled without Casey Thompson in there. And I think the most interesting thing about this is that if there's no Casey Thompson again on Saturday, Logan Smothers gets the start, and the number 2 quarterback is actually a walk-on that pretty much nobody ever heard of.
That was going to be my question.
Garrett Sinek is his name. He's a walk-on from Hastings, Nebraska. Okay. And he's apparently the man for the job. God, sorry.
He's one play away.
Over Heinrich Harburg, who's been here
Yeah.
for 3 years. So yeah, there's it's kind of strange. All of a sudden, your quarterback room's not so loaded anymore, and hopefully, fingers crossed for Husker fans is that Casey Thompson, can do more and more every day as the week progresses. But it is a good sign that he actually was out there and was a full participant in practice, and I did just kind of limited the number of throws that he was taking today.
They wouldn't think about throwing a Richard Torres out there.
He's not ready. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Mickey Joseph has said that several times. He had a pretty bad knee injury last year as a true freshman, and just hasn't been ready yet all year. Heinrich Harburg is another guy that dealt with an injury, late in his senior year too, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's strange to see. You'd think that his development would be at a higher level right now, but I don't know. I can't crawl inside the minds of the coaches. They're the ones out there watching them every day, not me. But yeah, that's about where we're at right now. So hopefully, like we said, the week progresses and Casey Thompson, is getting better and better as the week goes on.
So we did have a winner for the Wisconsin-Nebraska game, that ticket giveaway. So we've got a winner. I will be able to get you maybe a name here if I look it up here. But we do have a winner for that game. But everybody's still eligible here to go to the Nebraska-Iowa game. So we're going to be advertising that as we have over on the Iowa channel, but also here on the channel. Iowa City's how far away from Lincoln?
About 3 or 4 hours drive.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.5.
Right.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Okay. So
Des Moines 3. Obviously, Iowa City's closer to Omaha. Hour closer, but yeah.
So Husker fans, go to Gene Arthur Associates on Facebook and Instagram, and really do this anyway. Help out our sponsor. Go to Gene Arthur Associates on Facebook and Instagram. Like, follow, and share. That gets you automatically enrolled for the ticket giveaway. Nebraska and Iowa coming up, and we will find out who's the big lucky winner for the Wisconsin game with the Badgers rolling in. And despite the Badgers just being 3-4, and it's a long shot, they still have a chance to win the division.
Yep.
If they win the final 2 games of the season, I'm not going to go into the theatrics because it's unbelievable, the algorithms involved in this race, because you got 4 teams tied for first place and you got Wisconsin 1 game back. But if they win both of them, they do have the tiebreaker over Purdue and Minnesota, because they would have beaten Minnesota. But so there's a shot there, but they need like Iowa to lose and Purdue to lose their final 2 games, something like that, or Illinois actually. So anyway, it's a crazy mess.
And if you're looking for motivation, okay, obviously it's senior day here against Wisconsin.
Yep.
And even though this team's been mathematically eliminated from bowl game contention, you still have something to play for. You can knock out Wisconsin dead, and you can knock out Iowa dead the following week.
Yes, you can.
And that's a little motivation there if you're talking about a team that is still sitting on 3 wins right now.
And for those players who have hope and love their coach, and it seems like most, if not all of them, love Mickey Joseph, then you're also playing for him.
Absolutely.
Right.
I see. Never mind me. He was asking about Harburg not being on scholarship anymore, and I just, I'll just kind of say it's not a question of what's wrong with Heinrich Harburg, but it's just a question of where he's going to be next year.
Yeah, we got you there. So, man, they this Michigan game, Anthony Grant even just had 11 carries for 22 yards. It's just, I hate to see this situation because this team really wasn't necessarily going anywhere, but they still had a shot before Casey Thompson got hurt, and they were still fun to watch because they could play and be competitive with anybody, score points, be competitive, and it's just a massive struggle watching them try to produce a first down.
Yeah, it's been frustrating for sure. Yeah. And then, I mean, on top of it all, during that Michigan game, right there towards the end of the first half, offensive coordinator Mark Whipple just got wiped out.
Oh, yes.
So then all of a sudden you got to kind of change gears because, I don't know if he was all there after that hit. I mean, he was and he's not, he's not a tough guy anymore. He's a pretty fragile guy. And, I mean, I was scared for it might have paralyzed him almost. I mean, when I first saw it,
he sure looked like a mentally tough guy.
Well,
he was standing there. He was standing in there.
Tough guy, but you're also talking about a guy that he comes to his press conferences on Wednesday wearing socks. He takes his shoes off after practice and he kind of shuffles his feet as he's walking because he's in obvious pain.
He's 65.
Yeah, and Mickey would love it if he would just go up into the booth to call the game, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do that because he's an on-field guy, and sometimes you're tougher than your body allows you to be. So, I mean that with Logan's or with Chuba Purdy going down and Mark Whipple I don't think having all his faculties really, I think, showed up in the second half of that game.
Greg, was there something announced about where Mark Whipple would be this week, if he would be on the sideline or upstairs?
Well, Mickey was asked about that, and he like I said, he wants to be on the sideline, and Mickey said, if anybody knows how to make him go up there, let me know. So, that's the old football player coach mentality that Mark Whipple has.
Did Mickey have any comments to make about Logan Smothers and the confidence they have in him? Of course, he started the Iowa game last year and carried the ball 24 times. So he has played in big time football games and started them. So nothing new to him, but
no. I mean, Mickey's got confidence in him for sure. And like you mentioned, we had last year, Logan made the start against Iowa and didn't play bad. I mean, obviously for a half he played pretty well, but so he's no stranger to it all, and he's a guy that I've mentioned many times on this show that I know him very well. I know his family very well, and they're big time competitors. And Logan, that's why else would he still be here if he doesn't want to get out there and have his opportunities? So. And Logan's a durable kid. I mean, I've seen him take some horrible shots going back to in high school, and then when he's had a chance to play, as a Husker. So, he can take a pounding, but we know how this game of football is, and if you lose a quarterback, it's always next man up, and now it's somebody that's unknown. I think probably 97% of Nebraska fans have never heard of Jared Sinek.
Well, thanks to folks like you and Husker Online and other outlets, I'd say he's a lot more famous today than he was yesterday.
And Mickey commented he's a very athletic guy and can do it all. So. That's my scouting report on him, and I've never even noticed him on the team all year, to tell you the truth. I know how bad that sounds, but I'm not usually paying attention to the 6th and 7th guys out there in spring practice.
Well, you don't want to see Casey Thompson go down, but what this might do is ensure that he's going to be back next year and not try the NFL. I'm guessing.
it's hard to say when we're talking about a 25-year-old man still playing college
That's
football
true.
too. So you
Good
got to
point.
kind of factor that in there and see if it's all worth it for him. Obviously, I think that if he wants to, keep playing at a higher level, I think he does need to come back and have a stellar year. But yeah, that's totally up to him for sure. I thought the one thing that was really telling, because Mickey said they got, like I said, it's senior day, and Mickey Joseph said that they have 12 players that they know of that will be lining up, and coming out for senior day, which is a pretty small number. Um, and he was specifically asked if Trey Palmer was going to walk, and Mickey said no. And then he's like, well, he hasn't said anything to me, but I think that basically, I'm paraphrasing here, that if he hasn't said anything now, I don't think he will. I mean, because those guys have that kind of relationship. And then Garrett Nelson took the podium later and was asked if he was going to walk, and he just flat out said no. So that's good news for Husker fans. I don't think that's a shock to anybody if they know Garrett Nelson's background of, he's bled Husker red his whole life since he, picked up his first football when he was 2 years old or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing that you kind of start thinking about, is that, you're trying to keep, your nucleus of some of your better players together. And that's all due to Mickey Joseph, because, every man on the team to a T loves Mickey Joseph. So that tells you a little something. And then if you want to, you go into that debate about, the next head coach or what have you. Is it Mickey Joseph? Is it somebody else? Mickey was asked about that. He said that he has not been interviewed for the job. He hasn't talked to Trev. He talked to Trev, I think, last week sometime, and nothing came up with it. And he's prepared for anything. To him, he wants to be here. If it's head coach or if it's in another role, he wants to be here. And I think that's a big key. But if it's a new head coach hire, it's up to him if he wants to keep Mickey Joseph. And I think obviously you'd be pretty stupid not to keep him, just for what he brings with his enthusiasm and his recruiting expertise. And I always add on Bill Bush to that too, because these are two of the best evaluators of talent that I have ever come across, seriously, in my long career. And to add to that, Mickey was asked, or there was some recruiting questions going on, and then he was also asked if he'd seen Justin Jefferson's performance on Sunday, with that spectacular one-handed grab that he snatched away from the defender. And Mickey's like, oh yeah, I talk to Justin every week. I talked to him last week, and I told him, to not try to be catching the balls, with by your chest. He says, go up for those things and pull them down. Look, a week later, look what happens. I mean, that's an unbelievable job by Justin Jefferson. And then to piggyback on that is that Mickey there's a recruit coming in here that they offered at quarterback from Texas that has no star ranking, had just a few FBS offers, and Nebraska offered him last week, and he's already been here for one visit, so he's going to be here for the Wisconsin game here on Saturday. And Mickey said, a guy once asked me is why are you recruiting a no-star guy? He's like, you know what? Justin Jefferson was like number 2,100 kid coming out in his year out of high school. It had no offers and no star ranking. And it's all about, going out and seeing these kids in person at camps and then talking to them and getting to know them and find out if they love the game of football. And he said, yeah, I would have never, if I was listening to that guy that asked me that, I never would have offered Justin Jefferson. And now look where he is. I mean, so I think that all speaks for itself right there about, the kind of impact that Mickey Joseph makes on the football program.
Greg's right on target right there. I'm looking at it. Justin Jefferson was ranked behind 2,163 players in high school football.
Isn't that crazy?
Good Lord.
And now he's the best receiver in the world.
He was the 308th best wide receiver in high school.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, the scouts don't always hit it. Because as soon as you said no star, the first thing that was going to come out of my mouth, but you already answered it, was, man, they must really love this kid, because it's not like, okay, you got offers from Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State. Okay, we better go look at this kid. Or the recruiting services are saying he's a 4-star, so we're going to, no, that's on pure evaluation coming from Mickey Joseph and his staff.
That's where it's all about. I mean, how many times have we seen a 5-star go somewhere with all these accolades and he ends up playing like a 1-star?
Yep.
So it's all about relationships, getting to know the guys. You see the player, all right, you see a player at a camp or something, you get eyeballs on him and he meets that first eyeball check. You can see that, he's got hips, he's got feet, he's got snap, he's got grit. And then you meet him, you talk to him, then you meet their parent, you get to know their family. Number one key is you got to love football. Right there. You got to love football. And then if you've got the tools necessary and, you get to know them a little bit and see what what they're made of and everything. And that's the grittiness, the gritty part about a player. And, then depending on what position you're talking about, having the skill set to play wide receiver, or if we're talking about a lineman that, has those characteristics of, good hip snap and good get off and to be able to get, be able to bend and all that. Those are the other guys that you're looking for on the line. And, he's got it down to a science. I mean, he should write a book on recruiting, seriously, when he's, when he's done being on the sidelines, because him and Bill Bush are the same. They are the best evaluators of talent. Hands down, I don't know if I could even think of anybody better.
Do you know who's been impacted by Casey Thompson's absence more than anyone? At least in my opinion. I think it's pretty easy to see.
Trey Palmer.
Mm-hmm. His last game with Casey Thompson at quarterback against Purdue, this was a crazy game. 7 catches for 237 and 2 touchdowns. Since then, Illinois, 1 catch, 1 yard. Minnesota, 5 catches, 37 yards. Michigan, 5 catches, 12 yards. So the last 2 games, he got his 5 catches, but he's obviously not getting downfield. They're just little.
No, that's the problem, that they're not looking for him downfield, and then all of a sudden you're trailing in the game, and your coach is yelling at you in your ear saying, get Trey Palmer the ball, and the guys throwing the passes. Obviously, they're only comfortable throwing short passes to Trey Palmer. And I think I think Chubba Purdy wasn't healthy until coming into Michigan's game, and then unfortunately he gets hurt again and is done. But I think he was, at least trying to get the ball down the field. It wasn't pretty at times, but I don't want to say he was playing poorly because I actually, at times, I thought he did a pretty decent job. But obviously, the chemistry is all mixed up because, it's obvious to see that Casey Thompson had worked a lot with Trey Palmer once they both showed up on campus. And they really knew. It was kind of like an Aaron Rodgers thing, with Devontae Adams. He, didn't even need to look. He'd always know where he was. And I think Casey Thompson and Trey Palmer were kind of getting to that same kind of a relationship, on the field. But, hey, football, injuries happen in football, and everybody's got to adjust. And unfortunately, it's hurt Nebraska again.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, here's my NFL nugget for the week. I heard this one. The Dallas Cowboys in their history were 195-0 when leading by at least 14 points going into the fourth quarter until Saturday.
Wow.
195-0. That's like protecting leads. Like 14 points is a nice lead, but it's not a crazy lead.
Mind-boggling. Yeah.
That is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
We'll respond to the coaching. I'll, of course, leave the floor to Greg to talk about who could possibly be the next coach as much as he wants to. But let's do it this way, folks. You leave in the live chat who you think or who you want to be the next coach and be reasonable. Like if I would have asked you when Mickey Joseph was named the interim, what he needed to do, I think, we had that conversation about, and we're just guessing, folks. We don't know exactly if the administration's thinking like, oh, he's got to go 5-2, or he's got to, obviously, they would not be doing their jobs if they were set on wins and losses. There's so many things that have happened, just like I was talking about, he doesn't have a quarterback. So there's a lot of evaluation that needs to go into it. But do you think his odds have gone up or down in the last few weeks? By the look on the field, you would think they've gone considerably down.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But again, Mickey Joseph has won the hearts and minds of Husker Nation, really. He's very well liked, and obviously the team responds to him well. But yeah, when he took over, we said he had 9 games to prove himself as a head coach.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not looking great wins and loss wise, but you have seen that they're not. They've been a different team since he took over. They played a lot more physical, and they played a lot looser. And you see they've been in almost every game. And unfortunately, in Michigan, that crazy point spread actually was covered by the Wolverines.
Yeah, unfortunately for me. Well, I'm just picking the games. I didn't put any money on the game.
Oh, yeah, me neither. No, I lost that one. I lost the spread on that one, too.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They kicked a lousy field goal with 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, it's just crazy. Today was Matt Rule again.
Yep.
That was the big stuff. Bill O'Brien was being talked about again lately as well. And it's just really, we're all playing the same game right now. Is who's the guy for the job? let's get through Saturday's game against Wisconsin, and then you have a short week. You play on Friday at Iowa, and I've got to think that Trev Alberts is probably pretty close, if not knows already, who's going to be the next guy. So yeah, throw all the names that you like at me, and we'll throw the little ball on the roulette wheel and we'll see what comes up. Uh, you know, um,
If
but
you think of it this way, Greg, Mickey's short tenure here is better than it looks on the surface. Okay,
oh yeah,
he gets elevated to interim coach. 5 days later, they've got to play Oklahoma. They get punched in the mouth. No, it's not a good game, but okay.
You throw
He's got
that
to
one
prepare
out.
a team in 4 or 5 days.
That's not fair.
The middle 3 games, they played Indiana. They beat them by 2 touchdowns. They won at Rutgers. They lost a close game at Purdue. Purdue's a good team. Rutgers and Indiana, not so much. But they won those 2 games against 2 lower echelon Big Ten teams, and they lost a close game at Purdue. And so those are really the 3 games I'm looking at, because after that, they lost Casey Thompson. And that's part of the game, but it's also tough to deal with.
Yeah, well, and hey, Nicky Joseph didn't recruit these quarterbacks that are in the quarterback room here. He's playing with the hand that he was dealt. So, I mean, just to get this whole group motivated and, gosh, it's so hard when year in and year out with these guys, these upperclassmen on this team, that the results just haven't shown up, and then you go to talk to them and you can just see on their faces that, man, losing just is really hard. You keep your chin up, but it wears on these guys. And I think Mickey Joseph has kind of changed that attitude to it. Even when they still are losing games, at least they know they put up a fight, and have put their all into it. So, I mean, the motivational factor that this guy brings to me is second to none. I mean, this guy knows how to push people's buttons, and it's not saying that. I mean, that sounds kind of dastardly when you say it that way, but he knows how to get the most out of his guys, and everybody on that roster, if it was his position group or not, if he recruited them or not, I guarantee he knows every one of their names and knows their whole life story and cares about them like he is their second father.
Yeah, and it's tough to fake that for a long time. People can see through that eventually, and so that's genuine, and that's what that's one of the big deals in a 18-year-old going off to college is, okay, are they going to be well taken care of, mentored? Yep. And is there going to be somebody there or a group of people to support them and give them some wisdom and guidance and direction?
Well, he is the master of going into the living room of a recruit's parents' house and assuring that recruit's mother that I will take care of your son for the 4 or 5 years he's here, and I will groom him as a man and give him the best opportunity to succeed in anything in life after college.
Dave Sawyers wants to know if the new coach would clean house. Greg pretty much already addressed that. That's a guess. Some coaches want all their own people and they clean house regardless. It's like when there's a takeover of a company. Greg and I have been through those situations where, a station gets taken over or a media institution. Some people, regardless of how good you are, we want, and others go through some kind of evaluation and want to keep certain people.
Yep. That's the way the business world works. And obviously when you say that too, that we forget about this is a huge decision for Trev Alberts, and that he's thinking about that, and you don't really if you're Trev Alberts and you're hiring an outside guy for the head coaching position, the first thing that comes out of your mouth you don't really want to say is that you have to retain Mickey Joseph. I don't think that works with anybody. And I think that's disrespectful. But I think that you're going to get a guy that knows the value of having Mickey Joseph on staff. And like I said earlier, Mickey's prepared for anything. If he gets the job, great. If he stays here, awesome. I mean, he's prepared for anything. He'll be fine. If they don't want him here anymore, he's not going to have a problem getting a job. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a common sense thing. When if you're going to say, yes, I'm taking this job, and you look at what you have on staff right now, you'd be an idiot not to retain Mickey Joseph. I mean, obviously, you're talking about a guy that goes out and finds Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. The list goes on, and develops these guys out of nothing. So, hey, you be the judge there, America.
Welcome in, everyone. This is what we do each and every, not to throw you for a curve here, typically Monday night, because Greg was nice enough to be flexible and move to Monday nights with the playoff rankings. We do a playoff rankings, and we simulcast that on all the channels that have teams in the running for the college football playoff. And we'll do that again tonight. They've moved it to between two college basketball games about 9 o'clock. So we'll be over on the main channel with a watch party, and then we'll take your calls. But typically we're here during the rest of the college football season here on Monday nights, and then we'll make a decision after that whether Monday or Tuesdays work better, but we'll be here. So that's one reason why you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for the notifications. That way you know when we go live.
I never get those.
You don't?
Nope.
People, I think that's pretty inconsistent. Are you subscribed?
Probably not.
You're not going to get the notifications.
Oh, okay.
You're being a bad example for everyone when I ask everyone to subscribe, and then you say you're not subscribed.
Well, I'm on here every week. I didn't know I needed to subscribe.
No, you don't. You're fine. We also have Nebraska post game after.
I get a link sent
for that.
I figured that was subscribing.
That's it. That's good enough for me. Yeah, Nebraska post game live here at the Voice of College Football after the Wisconsin game, which is another one of those lovely 11 a.m. starts.
Oh, God, can't wait. Can't wait. I knew when I saw that email come out Saturday night. I think that it was right after the game ended. And I saw game time set. And before I even opened it, I knew it was 11 a.m.
Is that a Big Ten Network game?
I think it's FS1, isn't it? Or
let me see.
Let's see. I got it right here. It's on ESPN.
Oh, game will be on ESPN.
On the mothership. Wow.
They usually show an SEC game at noon.
I guess not today.
You know what this weekend is? This weekend is the weekend that almost everybody in the SEC plays a scrimmage against,
Oh, yeah.
Sisters of the Poor. So they're not going to broadcast any of those games.
Yeah, it's always a head scratcher when you see like Georgia playing the Sisters of the Poor at this late date.
Yeah. Right, folks, you can make that 3 to 4 hour drive to Iowa City, or many of you are probably much closer than that. So Nebraska, Iowa ticket giveaway for the final weekend of the season. Check out the Huskers and the Hawkeyes, big rivalry game. It might be a game in which Iowa needs to win the division and go to another Big Ten championship game. So you can watch and hope that the Huskers spoil that.
Oh boy.
So what you do is you go to Facebook and Instagram, look up Gene Arthur Associates on Facebook and Instagram, follow, like, and share right there, and you will be automatically entered.
Well, people were telling me. All right, well, that's for next week. So, boy, we got a high of 33 degrees on Saturday here. Oh boy. So 11 a.m. That's going to be crispy.
It just always turns a corner. Like 2 weeks ago, it was beautiful, and just those last couple of games of the season just all of a sudden go, and it goes from being nice out to just being miserable.
Yep.
and
well,
and we're there.
Yep. Well, the nice thing is, though, it does say that it warms up there on Monday, that we have, the state playoffs happen on Monday and Tuesday. So it's supposed to be 48 on Monday for the Class A final. So, hey, I'll take that.
Who did you check out last weekend?
I actually did not go out.
Okay.
It was bitterly cold Friday night, and my best option was a matchup that I've already shot, which was Gretna and Creighton Prep. I just didn't feel any need to double up on two linemen that I've already got plenty of footage on. So I, rested my old bones and stayed warm. And some of my colleagues were complaining that it was single digits. It was double digits, in the teens out there Friday night. So
Yikes.
I'm getting too old for that. I didn't want to lose any appendages just by standing out there for no reason.
I'm sitting in my house and the heat's at like 68 and my appendages are cold.
Yeah. Yeah. No, me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we had Collins' question up there. Yeah, I think Trey Palmer comes back. Casey Thompson, I think, comes back. I don't think he wants to go out this way. Anthony Grant, I think, for sure comes back as well. And O'Shawn Mathis, that's a tough one to call right now. I know that he came in here with a lot of accolades and really had some high goals for himself that, quite frankly, I think has fallen short. I mean, he has had some good moments, but I don't think he's performed up to the standard that he thought he would. So that's the question mark there for me on that list.
There it is. Chicago Bears fan 78.
Hey, bear down, buddy.
Love that.
Hell yeah. Third generation.
No one is talking about Paul Christ.
I don't know. That's a good question. You don't hear his name coming up for any jobs that I've been aware of. That's kind of puzzling to me. Does he not want to coach anymore? I don't think he's got that personality where he can just go to ESPN and start analyzing games and stuff either.
Yeah, he doesn't come across as that guy, does he? He's 56, so got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a head scratcher for me. To me, I think that, obviously they fired him and he got his buyout package, and he's still making a lot of money, and so it kind of falls into that category is, do you really want to coach while you're still getting paid not to coach?
Well, yeah, and isn't it true in most situations that if the coach then takes another job, then he's going to give up some of that buyout?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. So, the smart move is to just hang out and spend some time with your family and, enjoy free money coming in. I would do that.
I would too. But these guys are wired differently.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, some of these guys, they go nuts if they're not coaching. It's a hard thing to stop. I mean, when you're in a routine, and that's what your life is, that's what you're geared for on a daily basis, it's hard to give up. I mean, I think about if I retired after this year, I'd probably go bonkers all next year,
Yeah, like I think everybody
you gotta have it. it's like a drug. I mean, my goodness, yeah, it's hard to step away.
I think most people that enjoy working and are into it, yeah, we would all like to have more time off and more time and resources to go do the things that we want to do. But if you take all of that away, all that work, like I wouldn't know what to do.
Wouldn't either.
That's too much. People need to be productive. That's why
Yeah.
look at how many coaches, Bear Bryant comes to mind, and there are others who he stopped coaching like within 2 months.
Passed away.
That's it. Joe Paterno, done coaching within a couple months.
Boom. Yep. No, I mean, yeah, it's a hard thing to lose, and we don't realize that because what would you what are you gonna do? You gonna be happy just sitting around watching TV all day? I mean, what else? I yeah, I know a lot of people. Like you're younger. It's great. I can go play golf every day. How long does that keep you happy?
Yeah, it gets old. It gets old. I'm looking at the numbers on this game with Wisconsin as a 12.5-point favorite on the road, which again makes sense considering the quarterback situation with the Huskers at 40.5.
Yeah.
So that's 26-14. There's Vegas's final score right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with any of that. You don't know the status of the quarterback position, and with things in turmoil here, and Wisconsin kind of going through the same thing, but they kind of righted the ship a little bit too, and they obviously have something to keep playing for as well. So, I think if we knew Casey Thompson was 100% healthy and was going to start, I think that's a much lower number, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that score right there. I mean, obviously, like we said earlier, that Nebraska's only scored 1 touchdown since Casey Thompson went out. So things don't look too bright if Casey's not playing.
So they were a 30-point underdog against Michigan. They lost by 31. They were a 15 or 16-point dog against Minnesota. They only lost by a touchdown at home. They were Illinois. I don't remember what that spread was.
I don't either.
They lost by 17. I don't remember that one. It was probably somewhere around.
It was 8 or
9 points.
Yeah, it was something like that. A little over a touchdown, I think.
All right. Folks, anything else? Anything else for us? Otherwise, we can wrap it up for the night.
I mean, whoever wins those tickets, definitely layer up. Bring some hand warmers, some foot warmers.
Yeah, we should absolutely check out the winner. So I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look up the winner of the Wisconsin because that was supposed to be announced today. And then also keep in mind, folks, you still have a shot at the Nebraska-Iowa game. Go to Gene Arthur Associates, Facebook, Instagram. Even if you don't want to win the tickets, you know what? If you want to support the channel, go to Facebook and Instagram and like, follow, and share Gene Arthur Associates. But they usually post on their Facebook a video with who won. And they told me yesterday that the winner was going to be announced today at noon. So there's probably a video up here. No, I don't see one.
Nothing. Maybe.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there we go.
Of course, they put it up here.
Oh,
okay, boy. All right. That's not it. That just says to enter, but there looks like there's another video. But that looks like last week's. That's last week's video.
Okay.
So anyway, they may still be selecting for this weekend.
Maybe haven't heard back from their winner yet.
Yeah, could be that.
Yeah.
All right. So, folks, you may be able to win for this Saturday. All right, Greg.
Well, if you or I'm talking the week after that for Iowa, if you're a Husker fan from around here and has never gone to a game in Iowa City, it's a lot of fun. So keep that in mind. There's a few things to do there, nightlife in Iowa City and stuff that you might not think that would be cool, but there's some nice little areas there.
And then also keep in mind, if you make it to this weekend's game, that if you play your cards right and get down onto the field, if you do in fact win the tickets, then you can meet Greg.
I'll be wearing my snowman suit.
How big is Iowa City?
That's a good question. It's not huge.
Okay.
Des Moines definitely much bigger city.
75,000.
Yeah, it's a college town. Let's put it that way.
Our USC buddy Tim Prangley's here. Thanks for being here, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
So later tonight, folks, we are going to be live on the main channel and all the channels that have teams that are competing for a college football playoff spot: Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, etc., USC. And we'll be live with a watch party while the rankings are being unveiled. Then we'll take your calls. And then Tim, Tony, and Rick, they head up our Patreon, and they've got a really fancy little bracket that they throw together, because we take a poll that places all the teams in what it would look like if there was a 12-team playoff. So we know the 12-team playoff's coming. So we convert the college football rankings now into what the 12-team playoff would look like in the future.
Very cool. Are you making the popcorn for everybody?
You don't want to trust me with the popcorn. I know popcorn's easy, but I will still screw it up.
Well, I thought I'd ask.
I do the easy things like bring the chips or the drinks or the whatever. Yeah. I'm that guy.
You're the guy that brings the ice.
Yeah, bring the ice. I can bring napkins, whatever. I'll be the guy that does that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I've been proud of the few cooking, some of the progress that I've made in the last couple of years. But
good for you. I'm proud of you.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I do my best.
Yeah, we can't all be gourmets.
No. I can't be. All right, Greg. Appreciate you making this happen as always.
Yeah, I apologize for last night again, but
no worries.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to check out the show from last night, we basically did a Wisconsin preview because we had the SB Nation guy from Wisconsin on, so that's nice. What it was.
Very nice.
All right, folks. Back next Monday at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. How about that? We'll see you next week.